Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanation. I am your host, Dennis Patholkis, and this is Saturday Morning Blast Off. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to everybody in the chat here who's already here. Yeah, it is Slurmy. It is the end of May already. It is Memorial Day weekend. Hope for everyone's getting ready to do something fun and all of that. Yeah, it's been a very slow week for news. I mean, a very, very, very slow week for news. But we'll muddle through it somehow. Well, uh, it'll be okay. And everyone's talking about the the thumbnail I had up here with my opening title, but we'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to let some more people trickle in as I talk about some other lesser things in the news, which it's hard to believe there's other lesser things in the news, but there is. So we got word that Daniel Craig actually got injured on set of James Bond 25, which still doesn't have a title as of yet. So shooting has been delayed for about 2 weeks, maybe a little bit more, as he goes through ankle surgery, is what he's been doing. And yeah, he actually had a little bit of surgery on his ankle, and so we have to have a little post-surgery healing for him. But yeah, it's delayed shooting. And yeah, it just shows. I mean, he knew it. That's the reason why he didn't want to do any more Bond movies, is that he's getting too old. As he puts it, I'm getting too old for this shit. Danny Glover, thank you. But yeah, it's I understand, man. It happens. You get past a certain point and you don't want to be doing action movies anymore. I mean, look at Keanu Reeves. The man has been through a shitload of stuff. He is 52 now, 53, somewhere around there, and he's still doing action movies, and he still loves doing them, which is great. It's just that you can see that he is kind of hurting. I mean, especially when he's running in John Wick 3, he's doing the old man run, which a lot of us do now. So, and sorry if you hear the demon children in the background here, because they are right by the fucking door and screaming as well. Keanu's 54, 54 now. Damn. So there we go. Yeah, he's 54 and he's been through a lot. I mean, he's injured his back during the Matrix movies, almost, 55 in September. Wow. So yeah, he has almost been paralyzed because of that stuff that happened in the Matrix movies. And yeah, yeah. I don't run. I'm a couch ninja. Yeah, exactly. You need to get some holy water. Just now, holy water only just enrage them. That's all it'll do, and they'll just scream out louder. That's all that's going to happen. So yeah, I'm not. Oh, good God! And then of course, yeah, there we go. And then we get more screaming that's happening. So I always love this, and yeah, there we go. So let's go on to the main news here that everyone's probably seen. So there is a petition that's been going around to have Danny DeVito play Wolverine whenever the X-Men franchise gets rebooted. And that petition has grown over 20,000 signatures long. Um, I am with everyone else on this that yes, Danny DeVito is way, way, way too old to be playing Wolverine, unless you're doing an old man Logan story. And even then, he's not my first choice. So yeah, it's one of those things. I know people are doing it for fun, is all they're doing it. That's the only reason why. Pen Farm Girl, you're asking why they're doing it. They're just doing it for fun. It's not going to happen. And honestly, in this age that we have of petitions of remaking season 8 of Game of Thrones because you see a coffee cup, or it didn't meet with your approval, um or creating a petition to, I don't know, um because it rained last week. It's all kinds of really stupid shit. So, it's it's just for fun. This one it is. I am grumpy. Yes, I am grumpy. And yes, I am kind of on the old side. So Dakota Fanning in the War of the Worlds, no one screams like that. Waking that walking car alarm. Yeah, Slurmy. Oh, man, yeah, I remember that. That was pretty bad. That was I remember that now. Yeah, the Tom Cruise version of that where Boston wasn't touched at all. The rest of the world's fucking damaged, but they get to Boston, and it's like, "Yeah, was there something going on, man?" 'Cause, we had a little problem getting our coffee at Starbucks down the street. No, actually, Pepper's more angry than I am, Ufanobi, she really is. But so other people that have expressed interest, as I've done before on the Saturday morning blast offs, to play Wolverine. Keanu Reeves actually just reiterated this week that he's still interested in playing Wolverine. I could see that. I could see him playing Wolverine for a couple of films, but I mean, they're going to want somebody who's going to be in a long haul for like 10 movies kind of thing. And I don't know if he can last for 10 movies, to tell you the truth. I mean, he's trying it right now with John Wick, I'm pretty sure, but yeah, yeah, I could see Keanu Reeves. And the other person who's also expressed interest and still expressed interest in it is Daniel Radcliffe. Daniel Radcliffe, unless he bulks out completely and changes his acting style a bit, I can see him doing it, but it would have to be like a pretty dramatic change for me to do it. Viking Bitch says the petitions are getting so childish. Sharing your outrage has plenty of outlets like social media. How are the creators supposed to know what a petition demanding changes is all in fun? Yeah, it's this one you could tell it's all in fun. I mean, there is no way in hell that people are taking this seriously. Can you imagine if Disney said, "Oh yeah, okay, we're hiring Danny DeVito. He's going to be our new Wolverine in our Wolverine centric movie and our Wolverine centric X-Men." And yeah, I just I don't see it. I don't see it happening. So sorry, I'm just getting ready to go and scream out the door at the moment because of the screaming that's happening out there. So my God, that's all I can say. Yeah, that's what I always love. What about John Bernthal for Wolverine? I could see John Bernthal as Wolverine, but I mean, he played Punisher already. I don't think he's gonna come back to it. Yeah, I don't think he'd come back to Marvel. And yeah, Punisher is done. Definitely. It really even wasn't Punisher, to tell you the truth. It was a guy who came back with PTSD who wore a Punisher symbol on his chest and killed some guys. It really was not Punisher. Sorry. Um, so that's all I can say. You know, Danny DeVito could play Wolverine. Yeah, maybe in another alternate universe, Slurmy, but no, not this one. He's in an alternate timeline, maybe, but not here. Not in this one. Wolverine's father? No. Any favorites? Pen Farm World, you mean to play Wolverine or what are you talking about? 31,000 have signed now. Okay, so see, it's gone over 30,000 now at this point. Last I checked, it was 20,000, but that was a little while ago. So for the role, man, I really don't at the moment, tell you the truth. Pen Farm Girl, I don't have anybody. I used to say John Bernthal as well until he played Punisher, which just kind of I don't want to see him do another Marvel role, to tell you the truth, after that. Um, I couldn't really tell you anybody that I would see playing him, to tell you the truth, at the moment. Yeah, hey, Blee Cluette. Danny DeVito could play the Birdman parody Wolverine. He could. He could definitely very, very well play that. Danny DeVito could be the Badger. I could see him in The Tick playing a character like that, the Badger or something like that. That would actually be pretty damn funny. And I think he would play well with Peter Saranovich and everybody else in there. I think he would actually be quite funny in The Tick as a Wolverine ripoff. You know, that would be funny. But yeah, a live action Wolverine, you're gonna need somebody who's short and ugly. That's pretty much it, and stacked and built. You can't have somebody. Hugh Jackman was 6 foot something. He was not what you would call what Wolverine's supposed to look like. I mean, Wolverine's supposed to be like 5 foot nothing, um, 200 and some odd pounds, but it's all solid muscle and just ugly as sin. Like, think of a guy that's been through 10,000 fights and not on the winning end of all of them. So, yeah. New Wolverine needs to be way different from Hugh's portrayal. They need to go a whole different direction. Yeah, they do. They need to make him nastier, quite honestly. They need to make him, it needs to be an R-rated Wolverine one, and it needs to be someone you really don't like at first, to tell you the truth, because that's what Wolverine was. He was someone you really did not like at first. He's the one who attacked Hulk for, that's where we first saw him attacking Hulk. He was someone that no one liked, and then he kind of got worked in, and they kind of did this little makeover to him in the comics, and then he became a quote unquote anti-hero. So yes, anti-hero is a whole thing. Ah, so didn't we agree that Bernthal would be as good as well? Yeah, I did. Slurming a while back, but that was after the last season the Punisher came out, and then I was like, no, I don't want to see him do it. I really don't. Um, man, there really is nobody out there right now that I can think of. I'd have to actually sit down and actively think about it, to tell you the truth, to find someone who could play Wolverine. So maybe Scarlett Johansson, or Idris Elba. There we go, Idris Elba as Wolverine. He's being, put up for every other role. Why not this one? So speaking of Keanu Reeves, and I keep talking about John Wick, I got a little text, and they finally officially announced it as well, that John Wick 4 has been announced for May 21st, 2021. I am very happy about that, because John Wick 3 wasn't bad, but it wasn't good either. It was kind of average, but they left it open to a sequel, of course. And it's not a spoiler. I'm just saying they left it open to a sequel. They really did. And you've also been of service. Yes, I know, Movie Finobi. We have talked about this. Carla Bane for Wolverine. Again, I think he's too pretty for it, to tell you the truth, Pen Farm Girl. And also, he's Keanu Reeves' age. They're going to want to skew younger on this one. And I'm telling you, go for somebody ugly, go for somebody short. Don't be afraid to go to cast against the norm on this one. They want to cast for somebody tall and pretty, and they need to actually make somebody who's short and ugly and built. There are tons of guys out there. You go to any gym, you'll see a lot of short guys with short man complex, is what it's called, and they're built and they're ugly, and they're short. This means they can't act, but you probably can find somebody in LA that does that. I'm sure there's a bunch of stuntmen out there that it's the reason why they're stuntmen, because their faces aren't pretty enough for TV or movies. Hey, Stanley Tweedle. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to John Wick 4. And it's just, I mean, it's 2 years away. So it's, and I understand there's a lot of stuff going on. Keanu Reeves still has Bill and Ted Face the Music to film and also promote, and then of course he's got to film that one too. So he's got a steady docket of movies that are going on. He's also filming. He was filming a rom com in San Francisco, from what I understand, too, last month, if I'm not mistaken. So he was spotted on the streets of San Francisco, and also in different restaurants, bars, all that kind of stuff. So my router seems to break down. YouTube is very slow today. Yeah, it's yeah. Somebody Scott says 2 years is forever. By then we could be at war with Iran or China or with the southern half of the United States. Who knows? Um, there we go. And that's enough for politics right then and there. Also coming out on May 21st, 2021 is Taika Waititi's live action Akira movie. I have a feeling these two movies are going to be playing chicken with each other, and I have a feeling that John Wick 4 is going to be the one that's going to lose that game of chicken. Even though it does make a shit ton of money, it's not going to make the kind of money that a Taika Waititi movie, Taika Waititi Akira movie is going to make. That people are going to be really, I think people are gonna be chomping at the bit in order to see this live action movie. They're gonna complain a shit ton about it, and there's gonna be tons of petitions to remake it, of course, but they are going to really wanna see it. And, I have a feeling that John Wick 4 is gonna be moving their date. So, yeah, a live action Akira movie, which has been in the talks, oh my god, that's been like 20 years now. I know that, James Cameron was attached to it at one point, Dennis Villeneuve, uh, who's doing Dune now, and all kinds of name. Quentin Tarantino, I think, was attached to it at one point, but then again, Quentin Tarantino's name is attached to about 40 different projects at the moment, none of which he'll ever do. Um, and who else? I mean, there's just been a ton of people that have been attached to this movie. Viking Bitch, is that vodka in that glass? No, no, that's just water, unfortunately. I was thinking about whiskey this morning. I really was, but it's a little too early for whiskey. Needs to go past noon, and then it's whiskey time. So, what else do we have in the news here? Stephen King's The Long Walk is being made into a movie. Now, for those of you who don't know what The Long Walk is, it's a story about a group of kids or boys, if you will, that participate in a future event, which is they walk. And if you go below 4 miles an hour, you get three warning shots or three warnings. If you go below 4 miles per hour, then you get killed. And only one person can win. And if they win, they get anything they ever want. So it's a dystopian future, I guess you could say, movie based on something that he wrote back in the 70s. And this was actually one of the first, I guess you could say, YA novels, young adult novels. And this is when he was under his Bachman uh, moniker. Yeah, it's the Bachman books. Pen Farm Girl says, read the Bachman books when they first came out. That one seems the most boring for a movie. Yeah, New Line's doing it, so who knows? They were probably the only one they could get. And I guess someone I actually was reading Deadline at the time, and someone in the comment section, yeah, says, "Yeah, I was trying to get that property, the rights to that property a couple of years ago, and I found out so and so had had it." And so I guess it was like one of the bottom of the barrel properties that they got. So yeah, I can't see it as a good movie either. But then again, I'm not a big fan of Stephen King movies anymore. So it's 2 p.m. here. Take me it's time to get out of bed. I don't know, Slummy. You can usually stay in there. I'm drinking absinthe to fuel the inner drag now. I wish I was drinking absinthe. That would explain the blackouts then. Let's see. I'm surprised it took that long. Yeah, I'm not that surprised. There was so many other Stephen King stories that were out there. Because what does he have? Something like 2,500 stories out there. He's got a lot that people are adapting into movies or readapting into movies or readapting. I think Salem Lot's being redone again, and we got It Chapter 2 that's coming out, and all kinds of stuff. Viking Bitch says, I used to like Stephen King's old stuff after his accident. I didn't like the change to his writing, not his fault. I never really liked his writing, to tell you the truth. I read some of his stuff, and the one I did like was the one he wrote for his daughter called Eye of the Dragon, which again is being made into a movie. And just because I knew he was writing it for a kid at the time, and it was a nice kid's book, and that's being made into a serious movie now. I don't know where they're going to go with it, but yeah. Um, yeah, see, I used to like Dean Koontz. A lot of his stuff was similar though. You got a lot of stuff, and Phantoms was the bomb, yo. For those of you who, if you ever get a chance, if you see Ben Affleck, if you scream out "Phantoms is the bomb, yo," of course, from Jay and Silent Bob, uh, he does respond to that, from what I understand. Well, maybe not now, but who knows? Penn Farm Girl says Misery was originally meant to be a Bachman, and it was pretty good. Yeah. Yes, Godzilla is next week, and I want to see that. I know Brightburn is out this week, and I don't know if I'm gonna see it or not. I've heard mixed reviews on it, and I think I might just, let it go. Pen Farm Girl, Running Man, the short story was actually really good. The original version of it, because it wasn't just, like the movie where it's held in downtown LA, it was a nationwide event, and he was basically traveling all over the place, and the end of it is pretty messed up, the end of the book. Hey, Mr. Roboto. Uh, but I did love the movie. The movie is one of my favorite Schwarzenegger movies, especially Richard Dawson. Richard Dawson makes that movie because he got tired of his game show personality type that was kind of it killed his acting career is what it did. And becoming this evil game show host was so perfect for him. It's one of my favorite roles of his. It's pretty damn funny. Especially when he's asking the old lady to give him a kiss, and remember, no tongue. Yeah, I loved evil Richard Dawson. Mr. Roboto says, "I will petition you for Wolverine, not the Wolverine, but a Wolverine." Thanks, Mr. Roboto. Yeah, I guess I am that short, ugly kind of guy, but I'm not the stacked guy anymore. So there you go. Uh, it's not YouTube, it's SPO. Yes. Sounds like a vampire mating call. God, no. So what else do we have going on? Everyone probably saw the trailer for Terminator Dark Fate. Yeah, that's being released on November 1st. Um, I still don't know. I've been burned so many times on Terminator now that yes, I know James Cameron producing. Yes, I know Tim Miller is the director of it. Yes, I know that, Sarah Connor is not the focus anymore. John Connor is not the focus anymore. They have changed the focus of who the Terminators are after. Uh, so now it's somebody else that they're after. And quite honestly, hey, Morks, I'm not, I might go and see it, but they're going to have to give me a little bit more than what I just saw in that first trailer. That first trailer was okay. I still don't like Luna. I'm Gabriel Luna as the Terminator. It just, yeah, okay, great. He can split into two different Terminators now. It's kind of, yeah, all right, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, so Movie Finobi, that movie Crawl that you're talking about is produced by Sam Raimi, and it's supposed to be kind of like Jaws with an alligator, but in, Florida, I believe is what it is. And I you know what? When Drag Me to Hell first came out, and that was after Sam Raimi had done Spider-Man, everyone was going, "Oh, that movie looks horrible." That blah blah blah. That was like his first directing a small movie after Spider-Man, and that was a fucking awesome movie. He's not directing this one; he is producer of it, but um, it will probably surprise you if he's producing it. It might be good. So, Pen Farm Girl says Terminator, whatever, just doesn't sound enticing, even with the original Sarah. Yeah. Wow. Sorry, I'm hearing some kind of weird grinding noise. Oh, and it's outside, of course. So I thought that was coming through the microphone for a second, which just sounded very strange. But we love you, Marks, but I'm sure, yeah. Thanks, Finobi. You guys are talking amongst yourselves too in the chat. So we also have on August 30th, The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance coming out on Netflix. I'm looking forward to this one. Um, I don't know how it's going to be. Again, they're dropping this thing all at once. Not a great idea as far as I'm concerned, just because, again, I talked about this last night during Doom Patrol. When you drop a series, of episodes all at once, and people just kind of burn through them, they don't think about them. They just burn through them and get through them. The Dark Crystal. No, it's not Morgs. My God. And yeah, Pen Farm Girl, the Dark Crystal pictures look pretty damn close to the original. Uh, but yeah, I'll give it a shot, see what it looks like. I don't know how I'm going to cover it again. Like I said, it might just be a one-off. Um, we'll see. We'll see what it looks like. It's the same thing with Good Omens. I really don't know how I'm going to cover Good Omens. Again, I have to watch it first, see what it's going to be like, and then I might just cover it all at once, or I might do episode by episode. I don't know at the moment. Hey, Ejar, good morning to you. Um, Movie Fanobi says, I miss Terminator stabs, and if they are forgetting the rest of the Terminator movies, why lose the mythology? It's basically taking place after Terminator 2, is where it's taking place after Movie Fanobi. So Terminator 3 never happened. Neither did Terminator Salvation or Terminator Genesis. So nor Terminator the 3D movie ride at Universal Studios, was it? I think is where it was. Yeah. Even though that was supposed to be part of the canon as well as that movie ride. That movie ride was supposed to be part of the Terminator canon at one point in time. Slurmy Scott says the girl in Dark Crystal looks like some woman who got bad plastic surgery. Yes, it is still a puppet, Slurmy. Although they might have used her for a model, we don't know. Penn Farm Girl says, I like the T ride at Universal. Yeah, I heard it was good. It was just out in Florida. And, I'm scared to go to Florida. That's all I can say. So Terminator, Dark Fate, don't know about that one yet. Dark Crystal, though, Age of Resistance looks okay. We also got word that Jessica Jones' third and final season is going to be released sometime in June on Netflix. They didn't tell us when, they just put it on their list of June releases. That's all they said was Jessica Jones, which was kind of interesting. I don't know if they're going to do it at the end of the month, if they're going to do it in the middle of the month, or when they're going to do it. Uh, I'll watch it to see how it is. Hopefully, it's better than uh, a lot better than the second season. That second season was really fucking horrible. That second season was bad, really, really bad. And how it got a third season, I have no idea. After that second season, mostly embarrassed. Mr. Roboto says, Dennis, is Florida perfect for marine biology? I don't know, Mr. Roboto, probably not. Ejar says Florida with all the giant snakes and gators. Yeah, exactly. There's too much weird shit going on out there. That's all. Several reboots later, and he's back. He's back. Hey, Stanley. Good to have you back. Yeah, exactly, Ejar. That's my problem with Florida too. Because usually when you hear a whacked out news story, you go, it's either Texas or Florida. It's one of the two. And sure enough, that's what it ends up being. Sometimes it surprises you. Yeah. But oh god, I wish that was the case, Mufinobi. Then we wouldn't have we wouldn't have all those problems out there. But yeah, Jessica Jones. So speaking of something that I was kind of surprised wasn't canceled already, Humans finally got canceled after 3 seasons on AMC. I tried watching that first season of Humans and I was literally falling asleep about 20 minutes into every episode. And I would try and rewatch it and I would fall asleep. Try and watch it, fall asleep. So it's finally done. It's finally over with. And yes, Humans, Mr. Roboto. It's um the story of a whole bunch of robotic uh AIs that end up getting sentience, and it takes place in the UK. And yeah, Humans got canceled. Good news for planet Earth is what Stanley Tweedle says. Yeah, second season with Carrie Moss was okay, is what you said, Joker. Yeah, I honestly, I just really couldn't get into it. Um I tried. I didn't even try for the second season. I really didn't want to because the first season just didn't do anything for me. It really kind of I don't know. It just really rubbed me the wrong way, and it was just boring to me. It really was. So, Pen Farm Girl says Humans wasn't the worst thing ever watched. No, definitely. Humans was not the worst thing ever watched. I mean, that falls to Inhumans, definitely. Mr. Roboto says, I see how uh okay. I don't understand what you're talking about there, Mr. Robot or Mr. Roboto. So Slurmy Scott says the famous circuit okay. Yes, exactly. Inhumans, Pen Farm Girl. That is the worst thing. Although followed closely by Cloak and Dagger. So Cloak and Dagger is painful. Um yeah. So let's see what else we've got here. Excuse me. Did everyone see that Westworld season 3 trailer that happened right before Game of Thrones? It's slated for a 2020 release. And yeah, I mean, I liked it for the most part. There wasn't enough there to really kind of gauge as to what was happening. But if you go and take a look on YouTube, Marks, there is a Westworld season 3 trailer that's up, and it takes place out in the world, is what we see. Yeah, that trailer didn't look like Westworld. I was when I first saw it, I'm like, what the hell is this? This actually looks pretty good. And when it ended with Westworld 3, I was like, oh shit, they're gonna go out into the world and show what's happening out in the world, not Westworld, but actually out in the real world outside of Westworld. And I'm actually kind of digging that they're gonna do that. Um, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where they go with this. So I'm fairly interested to see where it goes. To answer your question, Mr. Roboto, it's probably gonna be 5 years before the X-Men gets rebooted. I don't think that Fahey is a big fan of the X-Men, and if he's not a fan of something, he is going to hold it back because that is kind of what his MO is on things. So there you go. And yeah, I agree with you, Pen Farm Girl. Batwoman does look pretty bad. So I mean, yeah, it's following some of the comic, but yeah, for the most part, it's on CW, so it's gonna be bad. Basically, they need to take all those CW shows and kind of revamp them and put them on DC Universe and do them right and give them a proper budget and a proper time length of 10, 13 episodes. Oh, everyone loved her better as Mufinabi as the mutant John Wick. That was where she excelled and shined. She was also in the final Resident Evil movie where she got shredded by a fan. That was a good role for her as well. Because I mean, I'm sorry, but she is not a good actress. She really is not a good actress, and how she keeps getting roles, I don't understand. I mean, just horrible, horrible, horrible. Black Lightning. Sorry, Mr. Roboto, still don't understand what you're saying there. Uh, too bad they won't do a Silver Surfer movie. Ijar, actually, I know the Russo brothers have talked about that they had talked about one of their characters that they wanted to do with Silver Surfer. So we don't know for sure. Yes, there is a Knights of Old Republic movie in development, but then again, until I actually see some actual pictures from it, I don't believe it. Like The Mandalorian, I only believed was actually in production because they actually have pictures of it. And the Knights of the Old Republic, Kathleen Kennedy has said this, but then again, she's also said that Rian Johnson has a trilogy going on, that so and so's got a trilogy going on. I think Quentin Tarantino has a Star Wars trilogy going on. The Russo brothers have a trilogy going on. My mom, who's been dead for a couple of decades, has a trilogy, Star Wars trilogy that's happening as well. So yeah, um, I don't believe it until I see it, quite honestly. Mr. Roboto, I kind of disagree with you on that. I'm not. really keen on any of the CW shows except for Legends of Tomorrow. Legends of Tomorrow has taken that wackiness and has made it into a good show. The that whole thing, I don't know. It's gotten the CW shows. Some of them gotten too political. Some of them have gotten too wishy washy, like talking in hallways, talking about your feelings, and running around in circles. Some of them quite literally Flash. And iZombie, yeah, again, has fallen under this as well. So that Stanley Tweedle says iZombie is the last CW show that I'm watching. There we go. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Mandalorian. Isn't that a type of orange? No, you're thinking of Mandarin. Is what you're thinking of. That's a different Ejar. Is the Mandarin, who, as I reported last week, is more than likely going to be the big bad in Phase 4 of Marvel movies. The real Mandarin, not the Ben Kingsley version of it. Yeah, Mr. Roboto, Black Lightning in the comics has a family and they play it very well. I mean, in the comics they play it very well. The live action version has gone off the. I don't know what was going on with it. It just was kind of weird. I even stopped watching the second season because I couldn't. I was actually falling asleep during the episodes again, and I'd stop. So, and this is fully awake, different times of day, all that kind of stuff, and yeah. Yeah, if your stuff is not grabbing me, it will put me to sleep. Too many series, too many episodes, Joker. Exactly. You really need to start. I understand that these networks, these especially smaller networks like the CW, really has to pare stuff down again to 10 to 13 episode season, not these 22 23 episode seasons, that kind of thing, because quite honestly it's not working anymore. You're padding out stuff is getting boring, people leave, especially people that are watching it on the internet or watching it on demand, streaming, all that kind of stuff. People are not sticking around for the longer series. If your episodes are boring 2 3 in a row, happy is what I'm going to say here on this one. You're going to lose your audience. You lose your audience, and then you lose your series. That's pretty much what happens. Sounds like you have TV narcolepsy. Sometimes it depends on what show is on Viking Bitch. It really is. Yeah, feelings in hallways. Stanley Tweedle. Yes, that's what CW is. Touchy feely only works. Oh God, no, it doesn't. Viking Bitch. Yeah, sometimes depends on the mood, but yeah. Ejar says CW has drifted way too far from their story origins and gotten too touchy feely. They went to Dawson's Creek is where they went. They went the Dawson's Creek route instead of going the DC route. Quite honestly, they should have just stuck with Legend of Tomorrow. Has a great balance. Quite honestly, they really do. They play it up campy. Sometimes they play a little too campy. So yeah. Tennis Dr. Phil. No, I'm not Dr. Phil. Although I am just as reputable and credentialed as Dr. Phil. So we already had I Frankenstein. Oh God, no. That was a bad movie. That was a really bad movie. You can never go to Dawson's Creek except when you do. Yeah. Yeah, James Vanderbeek, I have to admit, came back strong. If you go back, I believe it might still be on Netflix, called Don't Trust the Bitch in Apartment 2B, where he plays himself, James Vanderbeek, but he plays a version of himself. And he's shallow, self centered, self absorbed, and just a party monster who goes with Kristen Ritter to all these different parties. She basically hangs onto him for his attachments and his leftovers, if you will. And it's probably the funniest version of himself and probably the best thing he's ever been in. Yeah, his jeans commercial too was just hilarious. Yeah, really, really funny. Yeah, he is very good in that. Ejar says you have a show called The Flash, but focus on his girlfriend, wife. I don't remember. It was on his. Well, we had it on his wife for a little bit. Now it's on his daughter. But yeah, they have too much time travel in that shit. Is what they need. They need to stop doing time travel in the Flash and actually just get to the Flash and his rogues gallery. And yeah, and they need to pare it down. Instead of doing 22, 23 episodes a season, they need to go down to 10 or 13 episodes a season and focus more on the Flash doing Flash things, not running through time. Vanderbeek is in Posse. He plays a creepy boss, works for. I thought I actually omitted that word from my stream there. Maybe that didn't work. Huh. We'll see what happens. Mr. Roboto says the Flash is a time travel show and character, apparently. Yeah. You can't remember any time travel show or movie with time travel recently, Stanley Tweedle? Yeah, not something called Timeless, or yeah, there's been a few things that have had time travel in it. So, Derek Kolstad, who is the writer and creator of John Wick, he's going to be doing the screenplay for the adaptation, the live action adaptation of the video game Just Cause. I know there's some people out there who play some video games who know what that is. I do not myself. I do not know what Just Cause is. I just found it interesting that Derek was actually on that writing the script for that. John Wick was his first script, by the way, that he ever did, that he ever got made into a movie, and they knocked it out of the park with that. So I kind of want to see where he's going with this, if it's going to be a good franchise or not, or if he's just, good with his own stuff in his own realm. This will be the test of it, of course. Ejar says it's not the quantity that's the problem; it's the lack of writers. I mean, if you can't fill the quantity, hire more competent people who can write and know the many decades of source material. Well, that's the whole thing, Ejar. If you are not spending money on those writers and you're just getting the next, person in the writing pool that you're dropping in, you're getting what you pay for. Whereas a show like Doom Patrol, which, as Mr. Nobody called it, some really premium cable shit, uh, you're getting some good writers that are attracted to this and are actually staying on point, not changing stuff from episode to episode. And sometimes back to back episodes where you do one thing and then you do another in the episode contradicting what you did in the previous episode. So, yeah. Yes, Viking bitch. Doom Patrol needs to go at least 6 seasons. At least. They really need to, and if they can actually bring that quality and do a live action Jonah Hex series on DC Universe, I would be so fucking into that right then and there. That would be awesome. You don't need to do Supernatural with Jonah Hex. You just do Jonah Hex as Jonah Hex. There was a series that came out in the early 2000s, 2005, somewhere around there. That was a very well written series. And it was Jonah Hex just being Jonah Hex. They were Western stories and they sold. They went through 45, 46 issues before it became shitty. And yeah, that's how good it is. So does that mean that Mr. Nobody knows Beast Boy from Titans, Mr. Roboto? Probably not. I don't know. They never really touched on that. So, oh, you're welcome, Echar. Yeah, the Doom Patrol. Like I said, Doom Patrol threw me as well. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. I was covering it because it was another comic book universe story that was happening, and after the first episode I was hooked. When they brought in that intro that like they did with Mr. Nobody. That was what hooked me. When he broke the fourth wall immediately upon, the first 5 seconds there, or 3 seconds, if you will, that hooked me right there. And it knew it was gonna be something different, and it was. And that was that's a show that I love. Yeah, Ezekiel needs his own televised mega church. That would be pretty funny if they actually just did if DC Universe did their own streaming, or did their own website for Ezekiel and just made it a ministry, an online ministry, I think that'd be pretty funny. Where you can get ordained by Ezekiel. You know how they have those online, you can get ordained online and all that kind of stuff? That would be pretty funny, getting ordained by a cockroach who is God. Can you imagine the amount of picketing that would happen and, protests and petitions? That would be funny. EJAR says, I started watching it on spec due to having time to kill and got hooked." Yeah, I told you. Who voices Ezekiel, Mr. Roboto? That is Curtis Armstrong. You, may depending on how old you are, if you remember Revenge of the Nerds, he played Booger on Revenge of the Nerds. Most recently, he was on Happy. This current season, he was Dayglow Doug on Happy. So, there we go. Slurmy Scott says, "Now that DP season is over, I can binge. It will happen somehow." What network is it on, Slurmy? It is on DC Universe. So DC Universe has a 7-day free trial. They were actually advertising this on Twitter. So you sign up for the 7-day free trial, you can binge all of Doom Patrol, and you can binge everything else that's on there too, as much as you can fit into 7 days, and you can cancel it right after that. So there you go. Ejar says, "Just send $20 to the Church of the Sacred Bleeding Heart, located somewhere in Bakersfield, and all your dreams." Now, he was located in. They actually said what town it was too at the very beginning of the series, and now I blanked on it. I have it written down in my notes someplace, but they are back east someplace. Is where they're at. Which Ezekiel as a character is just hilarious. That Jeremy Carver wanted to use him for Supernatural, and they're like, "No, that's too weird for Supernatural, but it's fine for Doom Patrol." Where you have donkeys that can eat towns and fart them out, it has an entire universe inside of it, and you have giant rats, giant cockroaches that can talk, and the one thing I forgot was Admiral Whiskers last night when you're having the makeout scene between him and Ezekiel, and he's walking towards Ezekiel, and he says, "I'm gonna spread you like the plague, Daddy." I didn't see that one because it was a subtitle. I fucking lost it. Somebody had posted it up someplace this morning. I saw it and started laughing because I'm gonna spread you like the plague, Ezekiel, Daddy. That's just wrong. Completely, totally wrong. Uh, Anyone else wonder how Whiskers became an admiral? I'm pretty sure that's gonna be part of season 2, Mr. Roboto. There was a lot of things that were left on the table so that they can explain them in either season 2 or season 3. See ya, Marks. Thanks that you could stop by and have fun, whatever you're gonna do. Yeah, rat hole to roach hole. Exactly, movie Finobi. That was just some disturbing shit. So, yeah, yeah. Oh my god. Yes, definitely follow me on the twits, as movie Finobi says. That's the tweets, actually. I'm on Twitter. I'm also on Instagram too. I haven't posted anything on Instagram in a while, but Comic-Con is coming up. And that's going to be coming up in just a scant less than 2 months from now. And what that means is you're going to see a shit ton of pictures up on that Instagram page from me from Comic-Con. It's the easiest way for me to post stuff is honestly to go through, take a picture of it and shoot it out to Instagram. Who's a twit? There's a lot of people that are twits. Stanley Tweedle, that's a loaded question. Mr. Roboto says we might get Beast Boy next season. Well, Mr. Roboto, the timeline for Doom Patrol is after Titans. So Titans has already happened. Doom Patrol is happening after Titans. So we already had Beast Boy. He might guest in it. Who knows? But yeah, I doubt we're going to see him come back. Slurmy Scott says, I usually watch a show without captions and go back and watch with captions. You get more background talking that way. Slurmy, Admiral Whiskers, while he does speak in squeaks, they have subtitles for him because Admiral Whiskers, is a rat after all. Ezekiel, on the other hand, speaks very eloquently and is very easy to understand. But yes, I had to put the captions on it quite a few times on Doom Patrol because I couldn't understand what the hell somebody was saying. And yeah, it just was a really weird thing that I caught some good stuff out of that. You're waiting for General Immortus. Yeah. Ejar says, not trying to start anything, but thank you for the non-hate watch reviews. It's a bit tiresome. Yeah, I understand, Ejar. Yeah. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, I got tired of it too. And that's why I started my own. I yeah, when you're talking about the same boring stuff over and over and over again, it's like just move on. Really? I mean, CM works. Yeah, you really just need to kind of move on with some stuff and find something that you actually do enjoy and talk about that with blackjack and hookers sometimes, or craps and hookers. Uh, yes, maybe Finobi does only hate watch me. So, hey, Nut Muffins. Hey, Cordell Fenival. How's it going? Oh my God. Yeah, and again, like I said, if Diane Guerrero does not get an Emmy nomination or some kind of award nomination for what she did on Doom Patrol, yeah, that shit needs to, I don't know. The award ceremony stuff just needs to go away at that point then. Mr. Roboto says Supernatural is ending, but the writer from Supernatural may have a future. Which writers are you talking about, Mr. Roboto? Because Tim Krieg, who started all of that, he has moved on a long time ago. He stopped after episode or season 5. After season 5 was done, he moved on to Heroes. Then he went from Heroes over to I forget. He's been on quite a few things recently, as a matter of fact. The one on Doom Patrol. Oh, you're talking about Jeremy Carver. Yeah. Oh, you thought she was going to die on the end. Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know. Ejar says, if I don't like something, I don't watch it. Hence why I stopped watching most broadcast TV. Exactly, Ejar. I understand exactly what you mean. That's why I have a 4-episode rule. If it's not good 4 episodes in a row, and all I'm doing is just saying, why the fuck am I watching this? I stop watching it because it's gonna suck. I'm not gonna go back to it either at the end. I take that back. I did for the Orville. I've been, because people were talking about stuff on the Orville. So I'm like, okay, I'll take a look. And I'm like, all right. Didn't do anything for me again. So Ejar says, I'm not going to miss Supernatural, but the last season or so has been rough. Wow. Yeah, I watched the reunion with Jeffrey Dean Morgan coming back. I watched that episode. That was actually a really good episode, I have to admit. It was a really good episode. And it was nice to see Jeffrey Dean Morgan come back to his roots a little bit. And they made fun of him completely on that show after he left because there was a portion of that show where he would not come back because he was so big. He was doing Grey's Anatomy, I think, at the time, and he was called Dr. Dreamy or something like that. And they were making fun of him that Dean was watching a doctor show on TV that he was hooked on, and there was a Dr. McSteamy that he really liked. So that was the whole, joke of that they were doing with him. Um, yeah, yeah, he's also Negan, exactly. He plays a great Negan, I have to admit, he really does, but at the same time, I always remember him as Papa Winchester and the comedian. He played a great comedian, that was the only thing I really liked out of Watchmen was him as the comedian, but, yeah, everything else I'm just like, "Eh." Stormy Scott, what is Taika Waititi's Akira thing? Is that, his Thor movie was such a surprise? Yeah, it's so did you ever see Akira, Slurmy? It's like a 30-year-old anime, great anime movie. He is going to do a live action version of that. So, Cordell Fenival says, "Am I reading that well?" One of my favorite anime and Japanese. Yes, it was. So it was a comic first. It got made into an anime movie about 30 years ago, maybe more than 30 years ago now. I think it's 35 years now. And it's now being made into a live action movie by Watiti that is coming out on May 21st, 2021. For those of you who came in late. Hey, Dante S. Excuse me. So let's see what else I got here. Um, to nobody's surprise, the live action Sonic the Hedgehog movie that had that really creepy looking Sonic the Hedgehog has been moved to 2020. That's right, because they're redoing the Sonic the Hedgehog. Even though they've already done all the CGI work on Sonic, they are changing the character's look again because the character's look was so creepy that people were just, horrified by it, that they're ending up going back and they're going to redo the character completely and re-render all of those scenes, which just seems like a big waste of money, quite honestly. That's something you do in the sequel. Sonic the Hedgehog, the live action musical. That's really what it should be. They really should all just be live action musicals at this point. Yeah, it's well, Stanley Tootle, it's got Jim Carrey in it as Mr. Dr. Robotnik. Yeah, so he is Dr. Robotnik in it. Viking Bitch says, "Isn't what focus groups are for to catch things like creepy looking characters?" Sometimes, sometimes you get focus groups. If you can skew your focus groups so that they will be favorable to whatever it is, whatever movie that you're showing them or whatever you're giving them at the time, and or if they're not familiar with it and they don't know what it's supposed to look like, and they're like, okay, this looks fine. So Dennis, thoughts on the House of M comic, the one that came out years ago? It wasn't necessary, quite honestly. So HR says, "Wowza, wonder what that's going to cost. More money that." So someone actually estimated this out. It's probably going to cost them in delays and everything else, probably about 100 million on this movie just to do that one character to redo it all. So Mr. Roboto says, "I'm waiting for Wolverine and Batman the musical, which would be epic in real life, like Spider-Man after the dark." Don't laugh. They already have Beetlejuice the musical that is on Broadway. A friend of mine just went and saw that recently, and they're gonna, you know, don't be surprised if you start seeing a lot more comic book adaptations that are made into Broadway musicals as we go along here. Hulk, the musical, X Men the musical, yeah. Slummy Scott says the musical numbers on Umbrella Academy and Future Man were fun additions. Yeah, the musical numbers, a musical number within a series is awesome. I loved what Legion did. Legion's dance numbers that they did in there, especially the Bollywood scene. The Bollywood scene is fantastic. If you haven't seen the Bollywood scene in Legion, I believe it's the beginning of season 2 or it's the end of season 1. It's the beginning of season 2 is fantastic. Um Viking Bitch says it's worth redoing the CGI. They must be confident they can make a shit ton of money. That's what they're thinking. They're thinking that they're gonna bank on nostalgia, and it's not gonna work. I predict it's gonna be one of the bigger bombs of 2020 when it comes out. A lot of these companies also, what they do is they make these movies, they know they're gonna be bombs in order to, take the tax break on them, and, because they've lost so much money that they actually make money off of what they've lost in taxes. So they get the money back, and that's I thought that was kinda weird too, but I heard about that, and yes, people actually do that. They will severely tank a movie purposely so they can get the tax money back, which just doesn't sound, like a good business model, but hey. Mr. Roboto says, "Is Future Man good? I know you think that's the one with Ralph Dibny. Future Man isn't with Ralph Dibny. Uh, Future Man is a good show, yes, and it's gonna have one final season on Hulu." Oh, there we go. Cordell Fenival. Legion did the Bollywood scene in season one. Yeah. Season one and Legion has a lot of musical numbers in it and some fantastic musical numbers in it too. Really, really good stuff. Yes, Flesh Gordon is a porn musical. You're correct, Stanley Tweedle. There was a lot of porn musicals in the late 70s, early 80s for some reason. Don't ask me why. There just were. So, yes. So the final thing I've got here, which I thought was pretty damn funny. So Todd McFarlane of Spawn fame has threatened to walk away from the production of Spawn if the investors ask for any more changes to the script. I guess they've been inundating him with all these different changes to the script. And he's finally pissed about it enough where he says, you know what? He goes, you ask for any more changes, I'm walking away from it. You keep your money. I'm going to take my ball and go home. And for some reason, I thought that was just funny. For some reason, I don't know why. But also at the same time, I kind of hope he does just kind of walk away from it because I really don't want another Spawn movie. We don't need it. Exactly, Mr. Roboto. We do not need another Spawn movie. And yes, Viking Bitch, I can't wait for season 3 of Legion as well. It does look bizarre, which is what I want. I want a bizarre, bizarre season. And I want more from Noah Hawley out there. So, Sailing Twill says, "Does anyone know what Noah does next?" He has a movie that's coming out, Stanley Tweedle, that is called Lucy in the Sky. It was originally called Pale Blue Dot, but it's called Lucy in the Sky. It's coming out with Natalie Portman and John Hamm. I don't know what he's doing after that, unfortunately. He did have a script for Doom, for Doctor Doom, and that got shot down because now Fox has been absorbed by Disney, and Disney's like, nope, we're not doing it. And from what I heard, it was an awesome script. It probably would have led to having the Fantastic Four coming in as well. And yeah, for some reason they're killing it. So there you go. Oddly enough, you still want a Youngblood movie, Mr. Roboto? You might be the only one. I don't know if anyone remembers what Youngblood, is. I would like a Sergeant Rock movie, like a real Sergeant Rock movie. I think that would actually do good. You could root it in reality and still make it a good movie. So, Move Finobi says, did anyone think that Doctor Strange almost Mosesed that river in Endgame? He held it back, is all he did, Finobi. That's all he did. He just held it back. So, yeah. Sergeant Rock in DC Universe, that's if DC Universe is going to stay DC Universe and not be absorbed by Warner Media. That's one of the things that could happen. Disney, the blob of networks, it just absorbs everything around it. Yeah, it does. They do. They really do. And then they make a theme park out of it, and you can ride whatever it is that they've absorbed. It sounds wrong, but ooh. Fanobi is always giving me shit for my Minnesota accent. Lots of Scandinavian transplants here. Hey. Yeah, yeah. For sure. Oh my god. And that was all I had for story-wise here. Yep, that's all I got. Nothing, like I said, it really wasn't that booming of a week for movie news, if you will, or entertainment news for that matter. Um, so hopefully next week's a little bit better. But we do have a 3-day week. What's going on here? How's the weather in your state, Mr. Roboto? Is what you're asking. Well, right now it's overcast with a chance of rain. No, uh, it's actually decent. We've been getting the 70s and all that kind of stuff. We have what's called in Southern California the May grays and the June gloom. That is where we get overcast weather for most of the month there, which is perfect because otherwise it gets too damn hot out here. We're supposed to get rain, I think, sometime this weekend, but it's also supposed to get really cold too. And there's your weather forecast for this week. Back to you, Bob. Oh wait, there is no Bob. Uh, Dennis, that's all you have, not the sleepy lazy Picard trailer behind the paywall. Oh, I forgot about the Picard trailer. Oh God, yeah. Thank you, Mufano, for reminding me. I actually had wiped that from my existence, from my mind, because quite honestly, I just didn't care about it. The teaser trailer for Picard was released for CBS All Access, and it's supposed to show Picard post Starfleet. Something has happened. We don't know exactly what. It's all very cryptic, and he's living out on the Chateau de Picard, from what I understand, which is a really shitty winery. According to Quark, by the way, that 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 wine is supposed to be really shitty. That's what he says. And something has happened to Picard, and he's going to go on a final adventure or something like that. So it's a series that's happening on CBS All Access, which means you have to pay yet another service to watch a possibly bad show that's not going to matter in the end anyway, a la another certain Star Trek franchise. That yeah. So I'm not going to really bother with that because yeah, I'm going to let other channels deal with that one. And I did cover the Westworld trailer, Cordell, for Westworld 3. Yes, I like that. I actually want to see where they're going to go with that. Mr. Roboto says, so the Picard show is not a talk show like the Talking Dead. Also, isn't he supposed to be an admiral? Mr. Roboto, your guess is as good as mine. Whatever they're going to do with it, it looks like it's going to be crap, quite honestly. So, um, I'm not a fan. Yeah. Yes, I mean, I heard you guys are like on fire down there. Not literally on fire, but that it's going to be really hot in that area. So, yeah, yeah. No, the Westworld 3 does look interesting. I'm really kind of looking forward to that. See what's going to happen with where they're going to go with Westworld. I mean, again, it looks like they're going out into the real world. They're going to show us what the robotic interactions are with humans and robots out in the real world. And it looks like they are used for industry and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, Aaron Paul is in it, of course. I'm not into him. I think he's okay. I think he's a lot more overrated than he actually. I think he's an okay actor. I just don't think he's a great actor. Uh, Last episode was such a turnoff. Which one are you talking about, Cordell Fenwell? Last episode of which? Are you taking off, Mr. Roboto? See ya. Uh, yeah. Stanley Tweedle says our lake just rose 70 centimeters in the last days. So you can guess the what? Yeah, it's rainy. Yeah. Oh, Westworld, Cordell. You didn't like the end of Westworld, Cordell Fenwell? I actually liked it. I thought it was okay. I didn't love it, but I didn't think it was bad. I liked the very end of it with the Man in Black and what happened to him, and I called that one. I think a lot of people had called it, but still. I'm gonna have to rewatch that whole thing all over again when Westworld season 3 comes out, because it's been, what, 2 years since that's come out now? Something like that. It will be 2 years at that point. So, is it really the real world or rather future world? Mark Maginot says, it could be future world. I know they were talking about, they being, Jonathan Nolan and his wife who are writing the series, and they are pretty much following the movies. So they have been doing, Westworld, Future World, all that kind of stuff. And we haven't seen Roman World. We haven't, we've seen Samurai World, of course, and we've seen Westworld. So I want to see Roman World at some point in time too, and then also find out what the fuck with the Man in Black, with what happened with him. Viking Bitch says, I didn't think the second season of Westworld was as bad as some people. It wasn't as awesome, but I didn't think it was offensive. Yeah, exactly. I liked it. I thought it was fine. Ejar says, wasn't the big selling point of the original movie that robots were restricted to the fantasy world realms? Yeah. So Ejar, the original movies by Crichton, or the original books, I should say, by Crichton, uh, well, it's actually the original movie, was written in the 70s. And actually the 60s, if I'm not mistaken. I think he came up with the idea in the 60s, and the movies came out in the 70s. And yes, the robots were just restricted to the fantasy world realms. That's it. And they weren't supposed to be used for anything outside because, of course, then they weren't thought of as, taking over people's jobs, all that kind of stuff, like they are now. So now we have modernized that a bit, and now they, are in everyday lives. They clean for us, they cook for us, they take over our jobs, all that kind of stuff. So that's what that's supposed to be. uh Stanley Twill says, why does James Marsden always catch a bullet or a bad CGI pet? I think he made fun of that in something recently, if I'm not, well, not recently, but like about right after Westworld ended there. Season 2 ended. Movie Fanobi says, did anyone see some study saying that when Disney Plus goes live, that 20-25% of the people might drop Netflix? I'm not surprised. I mean, you're going to have all the stuff that Netflix had going over to Disney Plus, and I don't know if Netflix is going to be able to hold on to a lot of things, to tell you the truth. Their shows are good, granted. Netflix has a lot of good shows, but am I going there exclusively? I'm finding myself more and more going to DC Universe, to tell you the truth, right now, because I'm finding stuff on DC Universe that I like. But then again, that's what I'm geared towards. I'm geared towards comic book stuff. So that's what I'm going over to. Amazon, I'm actually thinking about dropping Amazon, to tell you the truth, because Amazon doesn't have what I want. Yes, it's going to have the Expanse on there, but I can buy that as a season pass. They don't have nearly enough of what I want on Amazon, and I barely watch that at all. Disney Plus equals Colossus? Nah, I don't think so, Ejar. I don't think it's gonna be as big as everyone thinks it's gonna be. It's gonna be. There's gonna come a breaking point. That's all I'm going to say. It's the same thing as cable, where they're going to have to condense things again, like Hulu was supposed to be. Hulu was supposed to be a condensation of network TV shows and movies, with all these different studios all collaborating with Hulu. Now Disney owns Hulu for the most part. They do. They are running Hulu. Comcast has a stake in it, but Disney can buy out their stake come in 2024 if they want to. They can buy out the rest of Comcast's stake on that. Speak for yourself, Mufinobi. I might be a belter. Who knows? Slimy Scott says Amazon is great, but they are always putting their hand in your pocket, and not in a good way. Exactly. Hulu shows on Amazon. Yeah, true, Court of Fenival, but there's a lot of stuff that Hulu had, Future Man being one of them, That's the only thing I'll go back to Hulu for is the last season of Future Man, and then I'm done with it after that. So yeah, exactly. What are you doing with pockets, Slurmy? I mean, you still wearing pants? What's going on? Yeah. So, if you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button. You're going to see the subscribe button right down here. Also, hit the like button, which is in the same place down there. If you don't like what you see, you can hit the dislike button. I just asked that down in the comment section, which is again down this way. Tell me what you don't like. Give me a little constructive criticism. Give me some feedback about what you don't like. You can also hit the bell if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next. Sometimes it's a 50-50 option. You know, you'll get notified. Maybe you not won't get notified. You never know with Google. You can also go into the bell settings and check out how little or how many notifications you actually want to do. You can actually set those settings. If you already clicked the bell, don't click it again because it will unclick it for you. So there you go. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live, I actually have a schedule. It's up on suspendedfanimation.com. And if I'm within 15 minutes of that. So if I'm going to be 15 minutes late, I'll be no more than 15 minutes late. If I'm going to be later than that, I will go in and I will readjust that time, just so you know. That same schedule is up on Facebook, on my Facebook page for Suspended Fanimation. I also have a Twitter, as previously mentioned by Fanobi, and I have a Instagram, and I also have a Patreon page. The Patreon page is not set up at the moment for tiers or anything like that, but you can go and take a look at it. And that's all I've got for you guys. Uh, you have pockets on your boxers? I know, really. Come on, that's kind of weird. I am on, I'm on the tweets, Mufinobi. You might be on the twits. Did you eat at Taco Bell again or something? That's usually what gets you the twits is when you're on Taco Bell. Oh, yeah. So, with that said, have a good Memorial Day weekend. I won't be on tomorrow because I don't have anything on Sundays at the moment. I will be doing Nosferatu, which is going to be AMC's version of the Joe Hill books, Joe Hill being Stephen King's son. I'm going to give that a shot when it starts coming out. You'll see it on my schedule. Mondays, I'm doing The Tick still. I'm going to finish out season 2, even though it's been canceled by Amazon. Tuesdays, I'm off. Wednesday is going to be the season finale and possibly the series finale for Happy. Thursday is going to be iZombie. We'll see whether or not that is the last episode I cover or not, because yeah, good lord. And Friday is going to be Swamp Thing. Yes, Swamp Thing premieres on the 31st. And of course, Saturday is what you're watching right now. Saturday morning blast off. And next week, Good Omens starts as well. We'll see where Good Omens resides. If I'm going to be doing episode by episode reviews, or if I'm just going to do one gigantic review on the whole season. We'll see where that goes after I've watched it. Mufinobi says Dennis needs to do one of those 24-hour streams of Pepper sleeping. No, you don't want that. She actually moves around and stuff too. Like right now, she's out cold, but once I take the headphones off and say a certain word, she'll come out of it and yeah, all that good stuff. Oh my god. Yeah. I'm not even touch some of the stuff you guys are saying in the chat right now. Ejar says, what I like and appreciate Happy, the quality has been too up and down for me. Yeah, the second season's been really rough. Really, really rough. And I don't think they're going to get a third season out of it myself. So, and that's the way a lot of these shows have been going anyway lately. Yeah. So if you're still on the fence about joining, you're going to see a video pop up in this section. It's a video taken from my video library that is going to match your viewing habits that YouTube has been collecting on you. And it's going to take a video from my video library that matches those viewing habits and place it up here. If you'd like what you see there, hit the subscribe button down there. You're going to see a little button here that's going to take you back to my channel, which has all that same information on there and also the links to my website there as well. So, with that said, now I'm really going to let you guys go. Enjoy your weekend. Have a good long 3-day Memorial Day weekend. And thank you to everyone who joined me in the chat. Movie Fanobi, Scope Leather Up by Viking Bitch, Pen Farm Girl, Ejar, Morks, Mr. Roboto, who else? Cordell Veneval, Stanley Tweedle, of course, who finally got things worked out there. And I know there's quite a few other people that were participating in the chat here. Mark Maginot, and that's pretty much all I've got right there. So thank you all for joining me in the chat. Have a good rest of your day. Hey, and B. Cluette. I forgot B. Cluette was in here as well. Thank you. Have a good day. And again, take a look at the videos. Hit the subscribe button. And don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may find out that seeing a giant rat and a giant cockroach making out with each other is not as fun as it sounds. See you, everybody. Have a good day.